Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at Rise to Power and week 1, which is Alexandria badges, and also looking at the availability of power tokens, the potential to get the sort of prizes we want like Rick. So here's the leaderboard for the event, and at the moment we have Hilltop in first place, Survivors, Saviors, and then the Kingdom. And based on where your community comes this week is how much prizes you get. First place gets 300, then second place 250, third place 225, and last place get 200. Now the difference is very small, but the guaranteed amount is of course last place, which is 200, and you can check that on the community prizes tab. As you can see, first, second, third, fourth. Now if the prize is the same every week and you come last every week, you will be getting 800 power tokens throughout the event, for the entire event as a minimum. So if your faction is in the community that comes first 1 month or 1 week, and you're going to be getting 100 more. There are also weekly prizes based on your overall faction rank, and those range from first place with 400 to the last tier, which is 500 or 5,001 to 10,000, which gain 100 tokens. And again, that's 400 tokens over the course of the entire event. So you're guaranteed a minimum of 1,200 tokens for your leaderboard, and that means you would require 2,000 power tokens from milestones, roadmaps, and potentially tournament rewards to be able to get your hands on Rick and complete the Rick stash. Now, taking a look at the Rick stash, I can currently do some pulls on this. However, I think it's better off to hold your pulls just in case, because the only thing that's worth getting in this stash is Rick himself, which means you have to have 3,200 power tokens. Now, if you've already done some pulls, I would still hold off, just because if you got to say 3,000 power tokens and you couldn't get Rick, you're better off using your power tokens on the wheel than you are getting this the items within this stash. The only thing that's good about these items in this stash is that you'll be able to get Rick to maxed out as a 5-star, and he'll be ascendable ready based on all the gear that you get here. The amount of trainers you get as well is pretty nice in terms of just being able to zoom him through if you don't have the 2 stars available, so that's pretty good. However, if you can't get the 3,200 tokens and you can't get your hands on Rick, then it is probably best to avoid the stash altogether. So taking a look at 6-star Rick, he is actually pretty nice. He has 66 AP, 550% damage, which is exactly the same as Shiva. However, he does have over 100 more damage than Shiva, so he will do quite a bit more damage than her. He does give a slightly lesser secondary part of his rush in terms of 3 teammates get elusive for 1 turn. I think Shiva's Confuse is very, very powerful, much more powerful than that. However, elusive could be pretty useful in attack, especially if you can command Rick's second turn. You could give 3 characters elusive on your team, and then any damage they take the next turn will not give AP to the enemy characters, because that's what elusive does. It works exactly the same way as Guardian Shield or Absolute Defense, but the only downside is, of course, is you will still take damage. Now, his leader skill is pretty nice. It would have been amazing if it was all melee characters. I really wish there were some more melee character leaders, but I might be able to run a fast team around this, just because they have released quite a few fast characters to free to play. We have Maggie, we have Vincent, and we have Ezekiel, if you manage to get your hands on all 3 of those. His active skill is Focus, which is sort of like an anti-Shiva. However, if Rick is in the team and so Shiva, then I think Rick's in a lot of trouble, because Shiva's rush will deal with him pretty quickly. He hasn't got much HP, he hasn't got much defense. So he will either have to have a decent weapon, or you could try and make him a bit more glass cannon just to make a lot of damage real quickly. Especially on attack with a command, he could be very, very dangerous. He's going to take out a Dwight or a Tyrese without any problems at all. Now, the other main option, of course, is the wheel, where you can get your hands on gear, and some of these bags have 6 times any of the tier 4 gear, which is like the holsters, the magazine bandoliers, hockey masks, and whetstones. There are also bags, I believe, with other things like, I think, 6 Liliths, 6 Ulysses. There are also individual items like the whetstones and stuff, but it does range all the way down to 3-star gear. There was a piece of 2-star gear in the wheel for a little bit, but it was just a mistake. It was, I think it was a waist. I'm not sure what it was, but it was meant to be something else that had the word waist in it. I think it was meant to be a waist tool pack, and it was a waist belt or something like that. I think that's either been updated now or due to be updated, but I would hold off on, unless you're genuinely you want to do all your pulls on the wheel, you can just pull as you want. But if you're someone who's going for the stash, I would hold off, like I said already. Now, when it comes to the second part of the stash, this is I would say the premier part of the event, because from what I understand, it costs 375 power tokens per pull. That's going to cost you 32,250 power tokens to be able to get every single item in that, to be able to get the completion reward. However, I don't think the completion reward is that fantastic. Now, there probably are milestone rewards within this. Every like 20 pulls you can get something else, I'm not sure. I don't think there's a milestone Rick for there's not a milestone reward for Rick, so actually I could be wrong there. But with that many pulls, you'd make that assumption. We'll have to see. I don't think completing this is that big a deal. However, you are guaranteed tier 3 and tier 4 gear for 6 stars on every single pull, or good trainers like Lilith and Ulysses. Because the reason I say I don't think this is worth really going for, especially like breaking your neck for it. If you get it and get enough tokens somehow, 32,000 does sound like a lot. Or if you're happy to just spend some of your coins on this, the weapon isn't that fantastic in my opinion. The bonus attack is not a very good tier 3 upgrade. It's actually like I think that's a failed tier 3 upgrade. It would have been better if it was a successful but not a trait crit, so something that maybe off trait as well. You could have done stronger attack in this position, which is a ranged crit but non-trait upper crit, which is actually pretty decent, and then 30% attack on that as well. Or you could have just had 35% attack, because most people, as it is, if they got this weapon, they'd probably try and upgrade the tier 3 to absolute defense, and the second they try and do that, this just basically turns into a combat knife, which you can get off of the world map. It would actually be worse than a combat knife, because the combat knife has 20% defense on it, whereas this just has 15 crit, which is, I guess, as useless as 20% defense, really. So as calculated on the leaderboards, you will need 2,000 of these power tokens, and you'll need to get these through museum rewards or any other way that they're going to be handed out. Now, I have heard a few rumblings that potentially they could be part of tournament rewards and even raid rewards. So when you win a raid, you could potentially get either badges or power tokens. Callie Shane, the community manager, did say that there was going to be newer ways each week to get these rewards. But hopefully they're going to sustain the current ones. So there were 2 roadmaps this week for the Alexandria badges. I hope they're going to continue that for the next week. But so far I've got 3 pulls. I kind of expect to get a 4th as long as I hit all the milestones this week. There is a faction level up to come. I still have to complete Silver and Survival Road as well. And I think I should be able to get the remaining 70 to get another pull on this museum stash. So that'll bring me up to 400 power tokens. So along with the 1,200 that I would be getting as a minimum from the leaderboards, hopefully I'll get slightly more. It does look like my factions are doing pretty decent. I will be able to get the Rick. I think most people will be able to get the Rick. Just make sure you achieve all the milestones. You cannot not do the milestones and then think you're going to get Rick. You have to do everything you can that you can possibly do. And I don't think they're too bad at the moment. The only one that was historically a problem again was the level up, and the level up rewards in terms of how many points you get per level now is much more increased. I think I didn't really calculate it, but to get the 500k points in level up that you needed, you would have needed to put less than 100 levels into tier 4 5 stars, which isn't that much of a problem. I did a lot of it by just getting my Maggie to tier 4. I haven't put any levels into her, but I did my Maggie to tier 4, and I did a couple of levels on other characters, and that managed to get me my 500k. I'm already preparing for the next faction level up, and I've managed to just, and this was coming from basically 0. As you can see, my legendary training is pretty much shot, as I've only got six days. I've boiled it down to basically the last of my rewards, and I'm up to 442 stars in training. Just trying to get as much of preparation, especially knowing that this is going to be a 4-week event. You should basically be trying to prepare for probably, I'd say, at least 6 more level ups. And this is me from a position where I don't really have much in terms of characters available, survivors available. One thing I will say is take advantage of the new gear depot if you're having problems with food. I've got 24,000 gear markers just from selling some high tier gear, which I don't really need. The gear that I'm talking about is mainly walkie-talkies, which I had like 40 of, and I think school bags the same sort of deal, and those sell for quite a lot. If you go into here, let's just say I sold another 4 walkies. I'll just do that, and another 5 school bags. This gets me quite a lot of gear tokens, and I've got 25 more characters that I can get to tier 4 as 5 stars, which is more than enough. That gives me 20,000 more tokens. Divide that by 150, and you're getting quite a lot of food. Basically, that's nearly, I think 1,500 tokens is a million foods. So 15,000 is 10 million, and I have got 44,000. So that's 30 million food that I've got available to me for an event. I think this new, in terms of making food not a problem anymore, this new gear depot has definitely done that, which is really, really great, because food was a massive problem for me. And the fact that they sped up the world map farming means I've actually gone back to doing 7-1 just because it's so quick. So I think this week is just giving you a good idea in terms of what to do to prepare. If you've missed out on the current milestones, I think you can still probably get away with just starting now and just starting to do your best. I think this weekend's cross-region war will probably have power tokens as rewards, as it does cross over the 2 badges weeks. As Alexandria badges will end, I think Saviors will start. I assume it's Saviors second. And that is going to be it. That is going to be the power tokens from that event will be the big telling point of whether we're going to get a load of pulls or whether it's going to be hard work. Historically, the cross-region wars, when they've been on with nugget events, have given away 12,000 nuggets. So that's the ascendable 5-star in those events. I don't think we're going to get the full 3,200 power tokens in this cross-region war. But you never know, we could get quite a lot. We could get like 1,000 for first place, and it could tear down. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the end of this video, guys. Hopefully this helped you in some way. I just say, just power through it. Try and hit every milestone you can. Some of these milestones are very easy right now. The Survival Road completing silver doesn't take too much. It's only, I think that's only 3 or 4 full energy resets per tier, and there's 2 tiers, so 25 energy per tier, 50 energy to get complete silver, and it's 8 energy reset every time. So that's actually not too bad at all. It was quite a long event as well. It was nearly 2 days, so I think this is quite achievable. I'll be doing a video for week 2, which I am going to predict is Saviors, just based on all the images I'm seeing and the order I'm seeing them in. But it could be one of Hilltop or Kingdom as well. Like I said, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I have got a poll running on my Twitter, and I will use some of the results from that in my next video. I will put it in the comments, so if you've got Twitter, just hit that up and just make your vote on what you're going to get what prizes you're going to aim for. And also, if you want, you can make a comment on that. I'll try to use some of those comments in the video if I have time. But that's the end of this video, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, keep on surviving. Keep on surviving.